Hello everybody and welcome to another week's reflection. I hope that I find you and your loved ones well and that you're dealing with isolation as best you can. In last week's video you'll recall that I mentioned I'm on a 5-year anniversary reflection of my walk across Spain on the Camino de Santiago de Compostela. And one of the phrases that I'd written in my diary 5 years ago last week was the Camino gives you everything that you need. If you read any literature about the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, it will suggest that there are 3 phases to a pilgrimage. The first is physical, where the body is tested and pushed to its limits. The second is emotional, where the heart and the mind is tapped, where certain things come to the surface through the daily rhythm of walking a Camino. And there's also a spiritual phase where the soul is touched, and a pilgrim, whether they believe in God or not, have to get in touch with the sacred of their lives or the purpose of their time on earth. But these 3 phases, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual, when I was walking the Camino, they appeared on the first day and they accompanied me every day for the 820 kilometers it took me to cross this sacred journey. One didn't override the other, it was just full on from the beginning, and there are some reasons for that, which I might explain at another time. One of my disciplines on the Camino was to make some billy tea. I took a billy, a small gas stove, and every day, it didn't matter whether it could have been in the morning, could have been in the afternoon, there wasn't a set time, but at a certain time in the day, the billy came out. And the billy came out to serve 3 purposes, I realized. The first was that I took my boots and my socks off. Dry feet meant less blisters. And so the body could rest to address that physical challenge that lay before us. The second thing that happened while the billy was boiling, and this would happen whether there were friends from foreign lands or whether I was on my own, was that a pilgrim could get in touch with what was going on in the heart and in their mind. And of course, the third aspect, you won't be surprised for me to say that the spiritual aspect of the pilgrimage was acknowledged, where a pilgrim or myself could look around, cast my eyes to the mountains, look at a flock of sheep nearby, sit against a haystack, drinking my tea. But also was an opportunity to look within, to try and discern what God's message was for me that day. And often this time of reflection would lead to either silent or a vocal prayer, like I said, whether it was alone or with some friends that had gathered. In this week's reading, in the Gospel reading, even before Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, which is an image that's been painted and promoted throughout the centuries, he says something even more important. He says, I am the gate. In historical terms, and for the Jewish people reading this text, they knew that Jesus was talking about leadership and who it was that was going to come and overthrow the Roman Empire, the Roman occupation of the world as they knew it 2,000 years ago. They were hoping for a warrior who would come and rout the Roman army. They weren't expecting a shepherd or a gatekeeper. This caused the Jewish community great angst and led, in a sense, to the Easter mystery, which we celebrated a few weeks ago. So this week, my invitation to you is to reflect on what is the gate that opens your heart to the divine? Who is it that operates that gate, whether you believe in God or not?